What up, y'all? I got something to share, blah, 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 all of that. It's King of the Ring. And what is King of the Ring? If you never heard of it, it's a tournament they do in WWE. One-on-one matches, winner goes on, loser goes home, that kind of thing. And Alibaba doesn't have a king, it has a sultan, right? So if you want to call it Sultan of the Ring, by all means, go ahead. I'm going to call it King of the Ring because that sounds better to me. But Alibaba doesn't have a ring, does it? Well, actually it does. If you look in the map, you'll see a ring of rooms, the ROYGBIV rooms. And it's actually referred to as a ring of runes in one of the rune messages that blows up in your face. I believe it's in the Capricornus room if you want to go check it out. So, we got a ring. Let's see who's going to be the king of said ring. So who do we got in our ring? Who are the pretenders to the throne? Well, let's look at them room by room. First we got room R, inhabited by the very young dragon, or the VYD I like to call him. I love the VYD, so he's in the tournament for sure. Next up, room O, we got the enchanted sword. I'm not really interested in having the enchanted sword in, for reasons I'll get into in a minute. Let's move on. Room Y, we got the blob. I love the blob, so he's in for sure. Next up, we got room G. And room G has lots of characters in there. It's got a lost barn owl, but he doesn't ever fight, so no point having him in a fighting tournament. And then you have the three wanderers, the Sun Wanderer, Earth Wanderer, Sky Wanderer. The trouble with them is they're insane, and you can't lure them anywhere, which wouldn't be a problem. But if they came up against the enchanted sword in the tournament, that would be a problem because the enchanted sword can't move. So you have to lure enemies to him to fight him. But I can't lure the wanderers, so if I was to end up with enchanted sword versus a wanderer, it just wouldn't work. So that's why we're not having the enchanted sword, and we can't have all three wanderers. Obviously that's unfair, so I'm just going to pick one. I'll pick Sky Wanderer. He's going to represent the Wanderer clan. And next room we got is room B, which is empty, so nothing to talk about there. Next, room I has the slime. Now, we've already got the blob on our tournament, so it wouldn't really work to have the blob and the slime because if they come up against each other, they're not going to fight because they're the same race, and same races generally don't fight in Alibaba. So we're going to pass on the slime and go to the next room, which is the last room, room V, which is inhabited by the succubus. And I love the succubus. Succubus is in the tournament for sure. So who do we got? We got 4 people on our tournament roster and our tournament bracket. We're going to have Very Young Dragon, VYD versus the succubus. And on the other side, we're going to have the blob versus the Sky Wanderer. So let's get into it. All right, here we go. The succubus versus the very young dragon, the VYD. And the very young dragon takes the first swing and misses. Succubus going to try and get on top of the very young dragon, because that's where she can do the most damage. She has a really strong hand-to-hand attack. Very young dragon kind of making an error tackling the succubus. Nobody's managed to connect yet with a shot. They seem to be just feeling each other out. Now the young dragon's doing the right thing, trying to get away from that succubus and hit from melee range where he has a bigger advantage. Succubus trying to take that advantage away and pokes the very young dragon. You can see succubus just does not do a heck of a lot of damage from melee range. The very young dragon making a rookie mistake again, jumping back on top of the succubus. And he pays for it. He got whopped. But the very young dragon has some good constitution. He should be able to take a whopping and keep on fighting. But he still hasn't managed to hit that succubus. She's been real elusive for him. Succubus trying to escape. That's an odd choice. And missing with her shot. Very young dragon misses again. He just has not been able to get a hold of her. And the succubus whomps the very young dragon. She can do a lot of damage from hand-to-hand range. And she's showing that here. And the very young dragon is toast. So the succubus moves on. She is one step closer to becoming king of the ring, or in her case, queen of the ring. I hope you'll tune in next time, and we'll see you then.